Hi, hello, good morning. Now, with Valentine's Day, that's right, you've heard it from me. Valentine's Day coming up pretty soon. Whenever you go anywhere in town, if you're lucky enough to have shops still open, or on social media, you will see people advertising Valentine's Day gifts. Now, what I have in front of me are two different sizes of MDF hearts. Now, you can get these at most craft shops. I guarantee if you have a craft shop locally, they will be selling these as blanks during the end of January, beginning of Feb. I got these off line, so again, I'm not going to product place and say where to buy them from. I'm just saying if it's something that may be of interest to you, then these are hearts that can be used for a Valentine's event or day or activity. Now, these ones are made of MDF, so please, if you are going to purchase them, do your research with regards to MDF and what you can and cannot do with it. Now, the main thing that I wanted to know myself personally was whether or not you could potentially buy these blanks and then personalise them by using pyrographing them. I can never say the word. So basically, you buy a pyrography machine. Again, do your research before using one, and then personalising them and engraving somebody's name in them or one thing and another. And the first thing I am going to say is no, don't do it, stop. Because these are made of MDF, you should not be using a pyrography machine with them. Said it right that time. However, what I have done with some of the ones I have purchased in the past is I have put a hole in them myself. So I've drilled a hole in, just a small hole, with a pillar drill, which would be one of the most suitable ways of doing it, in a well-ventilated space with safety goggles, with gloves, with a face mask, and just a small enough hole so that you can thread a piece of string or cotton or ribbon through. But again, even doing that is a risk because these are MDF shapes. And I know MDF is something a lot of people have heard about. You will have it in your house. You will have it in your car. I'm pretty sure your children even have it in their toys. However, it does come with health and safety warnings. It does come with health and safety risks. So again, do your research, which is one of the reasons why on bonfire night, if you have old furniture that you no longer want, need, or desire, you don't go and throw it on the bonfire because of the toxic chemicals that are released within MDF. So MDF is one of these products that is safe, providing you don't burn it. Okay, so if you are looking at doing a craft over the next couple of weeks because of Valentine's Day coming up, these MDF bases, like I said, you can buy them as blanks and you can do pretty much anything you like with them apart from pyrography them. So do not burn into them. I have in the past with my children, I have decoupaged them, which basically means that you get the blanks and you get some glue, PVA glue, you put it all over the thing, all over the base, and then use different little scraps of paper, coloured paper or shapes, or kitchen roll is always the most popular because it's cheap and it's cost effective. You can get what they call acid-free tissue paper as well. Again, do your research. But these, believe it or not, you can actually use with any of the following. A wax crayon, which I would definitely advise using with smaller children. So the wax will literally go on to this base effortlessly. Just don't use yellow, okay? What I have found with these is because of the colour of the MDF, if you try and use a lighter colour like yellow, for example, which I have here, which doesn't seem to want to work, you really have to push down hard for yellow to work, and it is kind of more painstaking to use. Now these are wax, this is a wax crayon that I'm using. Another good thing is by using wax is you can actually build up the colour. So the original was purple, so yellow is good if you want to change the colour of the original heart. So when we look at colours, we're looking at primary, secondary and tertiary colours. So your primary colours are red, blue and yellow. And from those you can make green, orange, purple. And then you get your tertiaries after that, which are more like your browns. And then obviously you get black and white, which are your shades. So that is wax crayon. You can use felt tip pen. So I'll do it on this one to show you. Again, felt tip will go on there. This one's just almost empty, but you can use felt tip. Oil pastels. And again, they are absolutely brilliant because it is oil pastel. You can just use your fingers to blend it in like so, but make sure you wash your hands afterwards. And acrylic, I'm going to take that out of my mouth. These are acrylic ink pens. Again, you can pretty much buy these from anywhere. And they will be able to be put straight onto the MDF blanks. Felt tip pens, which again I've probably shown you before, but with felt tips you can get different types. So this one is quite a thin nib. The one I showed you before was a bit chunkier because it was designed for a smaller child. You can get ones that are double-ended. So with this one you get like a feather type nib, which is very much like a paintbrush. So it will cover a larger area, more so. And then on the other side, when I can put the lid back on. You get a more detailed and finer line with it. And you can use, seeing if I have one that's sharp enough, crayon. And all of these can be used without having to add any extra tools or equipment. If you were going to look at using, instead of oil pastels, oil paint itself, it will go on there. It is absolutely beautiful. But you may then need to use something like turpentine. And again, do your research. You're not going to want to be using turpentine with young children. With the crayons, you could use watercolours. But again, because it is MDF, the last thing you want to do with these is get them wet. A little bit of water is fine. Too much water, and what will happen is it will start to delaminate. And I know this for a fact because I did an experiment where I left one out in the rain. Not intentionally, it was an accident. My son left one out in the rain. And literally by the time I went to see where he'd left it, the whole of the disc blanking plate had swelled up with water and it had started to delaminate. However, if you have older children or you're an adult and you want to do it yourself, after you are happy with your final finish on these, if you were to then use something that was waterproof based, you could just use PVA glue. I use decoupage glue because it has varnish in it. It is quite expensive, but there are other things out there. If you're looking at using something like Mod Podge, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it and I'm going to name and shame them. Do not buy Mod Podge, okay? I will tell you what Mod Podge is. Mod Podge, if you research it, it's just PVA glue with water. The only good thing about buying Mod Podge, if you do buy it, is that you haven't had to painstakingly weigh out the amount of PVA glue to water ratio that you need. So I'm not saying don't buy it, but like with anything, if you're going to buy something, make sure you know what you're buying, okay? And don't just get duped into buying something because of how it sounds or how it's named or one thing and another. A bit like the advert with the guy who thinks he's buying a puppy and he ends up with a badger. Okay, so it's always buyer beware. But anyway, if you then decided, after you were happy with your design, that you wanted to seal this, so basically lock it all in, make sure it was waterproof, use something like a varnish, but again, read the information on the tin. Most varnishes will have high fumes. They will say wear gloves, wear goggles, wear a face mask, and use in a well-ventilated area. So once it's all signed, sealed, and delivered, it will make it waterproof and it would be able to withstand being outdoors. And I know people are probably saying to me, really? Really? Is that true? And the answer is yes. And the reason I know this is because I already have one myself that I have outside my property. And my property, the porch leaks. It's leaked for the past 10 years that I've lived here. My heart that I made hasn't been outside for 10 years. It's probably been outside for about 6 months, and I will show that in another video. So this was just hopefully a short, just under 15-minute tutorial on if you're bored, you don't know what to do, or you just want to do something fun and exciting, just get some blanking plates like this, some blank MDF hearts, and go crazy, use your imagination, sky's the limit. But please, whatever you do, do not burn into the MDF, okay? So no pyrographying. There are other ways around that could be done potentially, and I can always do that in another video later on. So if you have any comments or want to give any feedback, it's very much appreciated. Other than that, enjoy your day.